Oh my God, can we talk about the Titan games? Oh my God. We're late on the train here in the Brazier house because we don't have TV. So we watch everything on Hulu later on as it comes out. And we just ended up watching it a week ago. And I've never we're not TV people. And we're definitely not like game show, that kind of TV people, but I've never seen Matt so invested in anything as Dani on the Titan games. That was the funniest thing. He was like, oh my God, she's gotta go. She's still yelling at the TV. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I can't believe it.
Oh, that makes me so happy. It was a crazy experience to go over there, but I've come to realize that I must be the worst person that they've ever encountered.
What?
In getting in contact with me. So I'm the worst. And it's not my fault. I'm going to stick to my gun. It's not my fault. I refuse to pick up numbers that I don't know. Because the few times that I have, it is always some weird dude breathing hard telling me and I'm so over it. So I'm and then I get these angry emails and they're like, hey, these people are trying to contact you. I'm like, well, you got to call because I don't pick up numbers. So I had this incident where so I was getting my hair done and all of a sudden Alex calls me and he's like, hey, I got a call from a producer that says he works with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and they're trying to contact you. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, they can't get in contact with you. I was like, that's well, just tell them to call me. Apparently Dwayne has been trying to call you. And I was like, oh, what?
What?
Scrolling through my email and I find this email from this guy, Frankie. Exactly.
Not Dwayne. Frankie is not Dwayne.
So then I was reading this and he was like, hey, I work for Dwayne's production company. He's been trying to get in contact with you. And then there was we had a little back and forth conversation and it pretty much was you should he'll reach it'll be from Fort Lauderdale. And I was and then all of a sudden it hit me. And I was he tried to call me about a month ago. Yeah. And they were yeah. A month ago, I had a call from a Fort Lauderdale number and I picked up and immediately there was weird rustling in the background and no one said anything immediately. I said hello and rustling and I was hello and rustling. No, not playing this game. Click, block. So I blocked his number and Dwayne Johnson has been thinking that he's been this guy, the producer was he's been leaving you voicemails or he just wants to get in contact with you before the final episode, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there
oh my God, you ghosted The Rock.
To be fair, Nikki, she gets a lot of DMs from people that say there's a Rock Johnson on the other end. So,
God.
And I freaked out and I panicked and I was texting this guy and I just word vomited and I was oh my God, I'm sorry. I've had this guy call me multiple times telling me he wants to come on my feet. So I thought that was him. And so I just but I didn't respond. He didn't respond to me. So now I think that whole thing is just over. And they're just they're not going to contact me ever again. And I was why did you write this in a text message to this guy? Dani, what are you doing? And then I was staring at the message and I was that's over. That's completely over. So you should move on with your
I got to be honest, Nikki, this isn't the direction I thought this story would go.
Can I just tell you, I feel like I'm your other Alec because we're the same human because it is exactly the kind of thing that I would do. And I'd be oh no, I'm so sorry. Let me tell you exactly what happens. I'm not lying. It's stranger than fiction, but it's true. And I'm this is exactly what happened. I'm so sorry. Ugh.
I was he'll totally understand. He's really famous. He probably gets weirder shit than I will ever get in my life. And so I was I'll just say the truth. And all of a sudden my thumbs are writing come on my feet. And I was oh, I wish I didn't take it back.
Unsend.
Yeah, so that's how that went.
But that was way after, right? Because you did do the thing and win the thing.
I mean, it's still going on. So it was just I think for I think it was probably for a PR thing. I don't know, or he just wanted to check in and be hey, the semifinals are about to happen. Yay. But like the type of deal, and I just like ignored it or like, whatever. And it's
Maybe slide into his DMs.
Yeah, maybe.
he is definitely someone who has like an agent.
Yes, for sure.
DMs, and they're probably like, if I did that, they would really laugh and they'd be like, look at this crazy girl. She's trying to get down. So I just
Like, you know me. I did your thing on your show. You totally know me.
I pulled the stone.
Great. Remember? Was it so cool though? And I know you probably can't talk about all of it, but like from what we've seen already, was it like, I mean, what was it even like going out there and doing something like that?
Okay, so to be completely real, it was a great experience. Like going out there and like doing the competition, meeting Dwayne. Like, I mean, everything was great. It was great. Now I'm going to give you the details of exactly how this happened and what I went through. I will never do TV again. So
okay.
So I land, because it was filmed in Atlanta. I landed in Atlanta, and the first thing starts with I get a random text, and they're like, your driver, meet me outside. I'm in the white van. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, well, this is the moment. So I had like a friend on the phone, and I was like, hey, I'm about to like get into a van, and if I just bring out information, it's like, send it to the police. I was like, I don't want to like miss the van in case it's like legitimate, but like I also am scared I'm getting into a van. That was the first whole situation. That was my welcome to the Titan Games type of deal. Like, okay. So then we show up, and they're driving us to the hotel that we're staying at. And it is the sketchiest Days in like express thing that I've ever been. I was like,
wait, hold on.
Bleach. I walked in and felt like I needed to bleach the sheets. I was like, oh, like I was scared. I was like, if I came in here with one of those like things on the FBI shows, the little lights, I had so many liquids, and I was like, I'm so scared. So I just tried to put that out of my mind. Just like let that go. And then I think we were I'd been there for 2 weeks, and someone got shot in the parking lot of my hotel that I was staying at.
Nice.
And then
all right, great.
There was another murder down the street, a Taco Bell, or no, it was a Pizza Hut. No, it was a combo Taco Bell Pizza Hut. And and people are getting shot, and I'm like, where am I? What kind of like reality fake is like, are there cameras to like see my reaction? I was like, because this doesn't seem legit. And so I'm like, okay, like I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to tough it out. Like the nearest coffee shop that was worth anything, of course, was a Starbucks, and it was like 5 miles away.
Nope.
I was like, okay, like I will just live. I'll do that. But the worst thing was I guess I get it that they were there to do a TV show. They were there to put on a show. Respect it, whatever. But they would have these call times at 7 a.m. and then we were not allowed to leave or do anything until we were released that night, which was usually close to around 9 p.m. So I was having to like get up and do my training from like 4 to 6 a.m. so I could like get ready from 6 to 7 a.m. because we wanted to be camera ready by the time we got to the studio. And from 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m. we were stuck in this tiny wardrobe room. We weren't like allowed to leave. We had escorts to the bathroom. They had like, we couldn't get food delivered in because it was like a roped off thing. So I had to like rely on the food that they had, which wasn't like terrible, but it was like definitely not macro friendly. Mm-hmm. And so from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I was stuck and like not allowed to leave, not allowed to train, not allowed to like do anything. I was like losing my mind. And in that time, the 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. slot, I maybe did 2 10-minute interviews, and like that was it for the day. And they were like, no, you can't leave just in case we need you. And I was like pulling my hair out. I was like, I cannot. It was like, so I mean, they make it seem so smart, like, yay, like we're tight, but oh my, I will.
That's TV though. That's like all production. That is like from that, you never know. Yeah. And I feel like I feel like I've like ruined it for Matt because I worked in TV for so long. So he's always like, how do you think they did that? And like, how long do you think they filmed that? And like, do you think that was real? And I was like, no, honey, that wasn't real. And he's like, probably none of this is real. Like,
and it's like awful because like they branded me as like a social media influencer, and I kept telling them, I was like, hey, that's not what I am. Like, don't say that. And they were like, yeah, we got it. And then like the next thing they'd be like, this social media influencer. And they're like, hold your phone up like you're taking a selfie. And I was like, I will throw my phone in your face. And like, it was a constant battle. And so
why was it, were you not, this was a question that we had, like, were you not allowed to say CrossFit? Is it like a TM thing?
Yeah, because like CrossFit owned the name CrossFit, and like they would have to have like, I guess, given credit or paid or something like that. It was some weird rule. But so like none of the CrossFitters could say that we were CrossFit athletes. So then like I was like, okay, well, like I also own my own business and I like do nutrition and like fitness coaching. They were like, no, Instagram model. And I was like, okay. So that was like another thing. And then they always were sitting there like during these interviews, they'd be like, okay, now tell us how this is like the most physically demanding thing you will ever do. And I'm like, my warm-up is harder than any of this bullshit. Like, you're making me drag this rock that everyone wants to believe is like super heavy, and I'm like, this is pathetic. And like it's like such like a false thing. Like, everyone's like, she's crushing it, and I'm like, no, this person is just really out of shape.
Right.
And like,
right.
It's just like, it's like one of those things. And I was just like, it's like shitty because it was such a cool experience, but like,
yeah.
They were sitting there saying like, you know, like, tell everyone, like, tell your audience how this is like the best thing you're ever going to do. And I'm like, no. And then they will say how this is the most physically demanding thing you're ever going to do. I'm like, have you seen the games? Like, have you seen what?
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. And I'm glad to hear you say that because when we were watching the episodes with you and Matt Chan, both Matt and I were like, damn, like, there's these other people, some of the other people on the show look quite fit and have, you know, like Olympic training backgrounds and like that seems pretty legit. But when we were watching, we were like, there's no way anyone is going to be as well-rounded as Matt Chan and Dani. Like, there's no way because they just don't, they're all like very singular focused training. So like all the different things they're asking them to do, like, is basically perfect for a CrossFitter or someone who has all these, you know, different focuses in their training. And then we're watching the final event and Matt was like, how many days do you think this whole thing was filmed over? And I was like, a bunch. Like, I don't think they did all the events on all the same day. I don't think that that's how TV works. And he was like, really? So like, they like did this event that took like 4 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And like, can you imagine comparing this, like filming this to a weekend of the CrossFit Games where they have to do the entire scope of the show like 15 times over the course of a weekend. Like, this is nothing for them. It like was not surprising at all to watch you guys get on top because I was like, yeah, this is like their morning session.
And it's like so funny because they even like they would spend an hour like filming just the crowd and they'd be like, what? Free cheer, and like everyone was like cheering, and like I had my friends and family there for like one like episode, and then everything else they just like cropped them in and just pretended like it was like that event. And it was like the worst thing because they would be like, wave to your fans, and I was just sitting there waving to random damn people. I was like, yeah. And they were like, blow them a kiss, and I was like, why? Now celebrating, kiss your trophy, and I'm like, okay. And I was just sitting there, I was like, this is like, so it was great. It was an amazing experience, but like, it wasn't for me is all I'm going to say. Like that kind of thing where I couldn't like really say, because whenever I say something, they'd be like, no, great, but say it like this and don't say that at all because that's not what we want to say. Say this. And I'm like, okay. Like, and I'm like watching myself on TV cringing because I'm like, oh my God, I sound like an idiot. Like,
you don't though. You don't. You actually sounded really genuine. I feel like I could see you, especially when you would like finish an event and win an event and smile. I'm like, oh, there she is. Like, I know. That it's happening. But it's just funny. It's funny to hear you say that because it's like what was swirling in the back of my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great show and I had a ton of fun watching and cheering for you guys and you know, like really hoping like I got the person. I want my girl. but yeah, it was in the back of my mind. I was like, I just don't feel like this is very hard for her. But
Yeah. Like, one of the things that still makes me cringe is so like after like the events, like, you know, like Dwayne comes up and he's just like, yeah, and like you get to like high five and he always like puts his arm around you, and it's always like an I never know what to do. And the first time, like I tried to like just hug him, but he's large. And so I was like, and I couldn't like reach. So I was like, okay, I can't do that. So I was like, I'll do the one arm. And then I just don't know what to do with this hand. So I found myself just like patting his pec. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're feeling him up right now. So I was like, your hands down. And so then like the second time it happened, he like did the one arm thing and I just did it again. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, go away. So like, I just like, I watch it and I just like, I know that maybe people don't pick up on it, but I'm just like, like I'm just constantly like, bad
remember
angle.
when I weirdly touched the rock inappropriately? Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, like I'm just.
I didn't pick up on it, but it's going to become a meme later. I can promise you
Oh
that.
God, I'm dead.
What are you doing? It's like at one. I was like, you're pinching his nipple. Leave him
Yes.
alone. Jeez.
That's going to be the caption. It's gonna
Little
be,
did you know that weeks later you would text him about
Yes.
some dude wanting to come on your feet. I mean,
great.
like all full circle.
Now he thinks that I have a weird fetish of like
course.
if that's Danny's life 101. This whole entire thing. So. Yeah. Can we talk about Alec now? Can Alec do an embarrassing story?
Alec, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you lately?
Alec, save me.
I don't have any good stories that pop into.
You.
It's been a really good past couple of months, just like chilling and training and stuff.
You haven't rubbed the rock's nipple?
I have not read the Rock's nipple, but
Oh,
I will
damn.
applying for the show. I know that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it comes with.
Alec,
Can you text them for Alec, please?
Yeah, I told Al, I wish that I had a contact for you, but I've blocked everybody's number. But I told Alec immediately that he should definitely like do it. They would love you as well. Like,
Yeah.
They're going to be like, here's Alex Smith.
with you. Yeah.
He's a gymnast. He's an athlete. He hates 10-pound plates. Like they'll have all the great things.
They'll
to
be
say.
like TikTok sensation.
TikTok sensation.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yeah, and they'll talk and they'll see like the one thing that like we do edit, and they'll be like, "Oh no, she's back! She's back! Get her off the screen!"